Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the War Train here. In today's video, I want to show you guys a couple of my new game pickups, but I also want to show you guys something that I think is absolutely awesome. Since I started this channel a little over a year ago, I've added so many Legend of Zelda games to my collection. Now, when I started collecting, I always kind of set out to eventually just complete a full Legend of Zelda complete in box collection. Now, I still haven't finished that because there is a ton of games, and as we all know, these games are not cheap. So I'm not there yet, but I'm working on that. But I just want to show you guys all of the games that I've gotten since I started this channel, which is absolutely just awesome. Before I started the channel, as far as the retro ones, because I do have most of the modern ones, those are not the ones that I really need. All the modern Zelda games I pretty much have, but all the retro stuff going back to the beginning, there's a lot of games, and those were the ones that I needed, pretty much all of them. But I already had these two when I did start the channel, and that is the Legend of Zelda 1 and the Legend of Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link. Now, these were, just games that pretty much molded my childhood, and these were the games that I had to have first in the collection because I absolutely love these games. I know some people do have some problems with Zelda 2, but honestly, I love this game. I still would play it right through today or next week, whatever. I can play it at any time. It's a lot of fun for me. And of course, the first one I could play anytime as well. So I absolutely love these games. Now, moving on, some of the games that I got since I started the channel though. Now, there is a ton of Legend of Zelda handheld games. And that's where I am lacking. Those are the games that I don't have to complete the collection. Not yet, but eventually I will get there. One game at a time. Now, the games that I do have, I'm going to show you. So I did have a lot of these, or actually probably all these in pickup videos over the last, 13 months. So, moving into the handheld games, the first two handheld games that I picked up was Legend of Zelda, Phantom Hourglass, and the Spirit Tracks. And I want to say this was probably a little bit maybe before Christmas that I picked these up, and I was pretty happy to put these back into my collection. Now, if you played these games or haven't played these games, you either know this or you don't. These games don't control like normal Legend of Zelda games. They actually use the stylus of the DS, and you actually use that to control Link. To move him, you can actually write on your maps and stuff. So it's a different kind of Legend of Zelda, but nevertheless, it's a Legend of Zelda game through and through. And honestly, when I first got these games, when I first got Phantom Hourglass, because that's the one that came out first, I honestly didn't know how this was going to work until I tried it. And I did think it worked, and I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. And then we got the Spirit Tracks. And same thing, it worked the same. But honestly, after getting two of these games, I was ready to go back to a more traditional formula of The Legend of Zelda. But nevertheless, these are really great games in their own right. But those are games that I picked up during the channel. And then I got a couple other games. I got some Game Boy Advance games. Well, I picked this guy up loose. This is The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, the DX version. So I still need a complete copy of this. But I do have, like I said, I have a way to play every one of these games. So I did wind up picking up the Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past with 4 swords. So this was, the first Game Boy Advance Legend of Zelda game that I actually got. And I absolutely love Link to the Past. So, a great game to have on there first. And then I got the Minish Cap. And all of these games are absolutely fantastic. I couldn't recommend them enough. If you haven't played them, they're all worth playing. So that was another game that I had picked up. And then my great friend Steve Craig from Steve Craig Retro Games, Gamer, picked me up this and had it shipped to me. Zelda 2, A Link to the Past, complete in box for the Game Boy Advance. So thanks again, Steve. Absolutely awesome. And honestly, I am missing the first Legend of Zelda game for the Game Boy Advance. That's the one I'm missing. The Game Boy Link's Awakening and the Game Boy Link's Awakening for the Game Boy Color. So those are the 3 handheld games that I am currently missing because recently I picked up Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. Now, I did already have just a loose card of these games, but now I do have them complete. And Oracle of Ages is a sealed copy, so that is absolutely awesome. And these are also great games in their own right. And recently I got a GameCube player, or a Game Boy player for my GameCube. So now I can play these games on my TV, which is phenomenal. Let me tell you, it is phenomenal. So very happy to have added these to my collection. So that's all of the Legend of Zelda Game Boy handheld games that I have. Quite a few of them. So you can see where it adds up quick getting these games, because like I said, each one of these has a cost. And then I recently as well picked up some console games that I didn't have. And I got, for the GameCube, well, first off, for the GameCube, I already had the Wind Waker. So that was one that I already did have complete before I started the channel. And I also had the Ocarina of Time and the Master Quest. So pretty awesome stuff there. I absolutely love both of them. GameCube, yeah, had just absolutely great Zelda games, and a ton of them. And then recently I got the promo disc, the collector's edition of The Legend of Zelda, which has Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, let's see, the first Zelda and Zelda 2 on it, and also has a playable demo of the Wind Waker. Now, I believe this was actually a pre-order bonus. I could be wrong about that, but pretty awesome nonetheless. And also recently, I, at the same time, added Twilight Princess for the GameCube. Now, like I said, I have modern versions of these games. I have Wind Waker HD for the Wii U, and I do have Twilight Princess HD for the Wii U as well. But I always wanted to have the original one. I did have the Wii version. Originally, that was the version that I had gotten. But I did wind up playing it with the motion controls. Just because at the time I didn't have a GameCube controller or anything to play that game with, so I just played it with the Wiimote and the nunchuck, and it was okay, but it started to wear out its welcome towards the end of the game when it got harder, especially in one of the end dungeons, the Sky World. It was driving me crazy. I kept falling, just with the double hook shots. It worked okay, but sometimes it didn't work, and it got frustrating, honestly. But much easier to play with the controller because I've been playing it, and 2 days ago I beat this game. And I gotta say, man, this is an excellent game. I forgot just how great of a game this is. It's just so epic. I highly recommend it. If you have not played Twilight Princess yet, man, go play it. I gotta say though, the beginning of the game is very slow. It can maybe be a deal breaker for some people, but just play through it. I guarantee you, man, the game totally picks up and is so worth playing through. Now, it is very linear, but honestly, that's not a bad thing. We have different types of Zelda games, and with Breath of the Wild, super wide open. But it's kind of nice sometimes to go back to a linear style game. And honestly, this was a lot of fun playing through again. And playing on original hardware was really cool, especially too recently I got the M cable, and I already had the GCHD, so just combining the two, I was able to play this game on my big TV in 1080p, and honestly, it looked phenomenal. I was blown away how good it looked, and you know, it made it easy to just keep playing. Because one thing about the HD version is a little, you know, washed out looking, and the depth is, I don't think, is good on it. Just for whatever reason, the way that it looks. This one, not so much. It looks great. You know, even though the backgrounds can be blurry, but you know, you're talking pretty old hardware at this point. Definitely not holding nothing to, you know, the HD version, but still a solid version in its own right. And honestly, the game was made for the Gamecube, so it just shows you that that was an awesome system. And recently, this is one of my new pickups, guys. I got Four Swords Adventures, completing my Gamecube collection for the Legend of Zelda games, and this guy is complete in box. Now, if you know, I know a lot of you guys know this, but for some of you guys that, you know, maybe just got into collecting or whatever, if you're going for complete, you got to make sure that you're getting all the paperwork or it's not complete. So like this game, I'm trying to be delicate here, but this game actually has 3 different pieces of literature with it. You know, health and safety precaution booklet. Then you got, you know, this little Nintendo Power thing here. And then you have the manual. So if you're just getting into collection, just something to look out for. Some people say the game's complete and it's just box and manual. So definitely just a little something to look out for there if you're just getting started. Because they might be charging prices for complete copies and it's honestly not complete because some people just, you know, are out to rip people off. But absolutely fantastic. I'm so happy to have finally got all the games for the Gamecube. Now there is other variants and all that stuff, but as far as just the base game for each one of these, I finally have one of each, so I'm pretty happy about that. And I also got the Four Swords manual to go with the game, and this thing is in absolutely great condition, guys. I'll just show you. I just love the artwork here. These strategy guides are awesome. Definitely makes me sad that they don't really make these too much anymore. Some games they'll make them for, but a lot of these companies went under, unfortunately. Prima, Nintendo Power, we all know is gone, but pretty awesome stuff. And the poster is still in here, so that is absolutely awesome. And you know, it shows that you could have, you know, at some point got this shirt. Man, I wish I could have got that shirt. But absolutely awesome. These strategy guides are really nice to have. You know, you can now look online, but still there's nothing like having a manual, guys. Especially for some of us that are older, it's just one of those things that alone brings back the nostalgia. And you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, so moving along. Recently, I also picked up the Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, and I also picked up Ocarina of Time for the Nintendo 64. Now, I had these games, but honestly, I never owned the collector's edition of either one of these until recently. But nevertheless, now they're in my collection, and these are pricey games. This one especially. But I am really happy to finally have these in my collection. So now I have the Nintendo 64 games. So now that collection is complete. And I also got one more to show you guys, and this is my new game pickup as well. This is, for me, the big one. The Four Swords Adventure was a great one, but this one is even better. I recently picked up this guy right here. The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, possibly the best Legend of Zelda game of all time. A lot of people believe it is. I know in a lot of lists this is number one. It's usually a toss-up between this or Ocarina of Time. Regardless, they're both absolutely excellent games. This game is a game that you can go back anytime and just play through it. It's so much fun. It looks great. In my opinion, it totally holds up. I love the art style, and it's just a fun game. And I am so happy to finally have this one in my collection, complete in box. So this is my big new game pickup, one I'm really excited for. I actually have some other stuff on the way. Unfortunately, it didn't get here to make this video, but regardless, I still wanted to show you guys this because this is such an awesome game. I don't have to introduce this game. You guys know how good it is, but absolutely happy to have finally put this one in the collection along with the other ones. So like I said, I'm getting close to finishing this collection. I can't wait, but it's definitely fun. The journey going through it is a blast. And honestly, I've been trying to get these games in, relatively great shape, because I tell you what, the better the shape, the price just skyrockets. And I'll tell you, some of the prices make me want to fall over, and it's like, yeah, they're not not for me. So I'll step it right in the middle, and I found a nice middle ground here, so I'm pretty happy about this. But I also want to give you guys a quick update on another game. One of the pickups I had before Christmas, I believe. Now, this was a DS game that I picked up from a local GameStop. It was just kind of like, stood out because it's a game that I was keeping an eye out for, and I didn't really see much of it. And I did wind up finding it, and I picked up a loose copy, and that was Super Princess Peach. Now, this is the only Princess Peach game where you specifically play as Princess Peach. It's a platformer, and honestly, this is a really cool game. Definitely unique. Peach has a little umbrella or parasol, Perry the parasol, but definitely cool art style and stuff, and it's just different to have Peach, as the main character instead of Mario for once. So I thought it was cool, but it was a loose copy nonetheless, and I've been having it in a donor box, from just a lousy game or whatever, just to take care of this game, because I honestly, for a DS game, this was one of the priciest ones they even had at GameStop. I guess not a shock. It is, a first-party Nintendo title, and they pretty much always hold value, especially over some of the shovelware the DS got. But nonetheless, this was a game that I really wanted to complete because it just killed me having a loose copy. But when I seen it, I just snagged it up. But I winded up completing this copy, guys. So here it is. I finally completed Super Princess Peach. I think it's kind of cool to show an update like this because, sometimes with these pickups, you might see a game, but you might see a loose cart and maybe wonder down the road, whatever happened with that? Did you complete it? There is still tons of games I want to complete, but this is finally one completed. So I'll show you guys. So now I have the health and safety precaution booklet, and I have the manual. So pretty awesome. Definitely a very colorful game, just to give you an idea. But absolutely awesome, guys. Really happy to have added this complete into my collection now, finally. It's always nice to complete a game, I gotta say. And those of you that collect, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But that's it, guys. That's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be putting out some more content. Sorry if it's been a little bit light recently. Honestly, I've been working like 7 days a week, and for the last 2 months I've been having to wear a mask, and doing heavy construction with a mask on is really difficult, and it pretty much just restricting the oxygen, it feels like I work twice as long during the day. Honestly, by the time I get out of work and take that mask off, it's like such a relief to get a breath of fresh air. You know, but honestly, by the time I get home and take a shower, I just pass out. So that's why the video has been a little bit light, but I'm starting to get used to wearing the mask now that it's been a couple months. So you know, plus, like I said, I've been working a lot, so maybe that'll be calming down and hopefully it'll be back to normal, guys. But I just want to say thanks for watching to the end if you did. But if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, guys, think about subscribing to the channel. I try to put gaming content out as much as I can. But that's the video. I'm the War Train, and I'm out. Have a good one, guys.